Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. In today's video, we're going to be discussing some of the spiritual gems comments for the week of December 2nd to 8th, 2024. So friends, we welcome you, and now let's jump right in. Let's start with the first question. It comes from Psalm 116, verse 15. Let's read it. Costly in the eyes of Jehovah is the death of his loyal ones. So the question, who are God's loyal ones referred to in this verse? And the short answer is, they are each and every one of his faithful servants. That's it. Okay, but an additional and interesting comment is, this doesn't refer to his faithful servants who have died. In fact, the true meaning is broader. It means that God counts the death of the entire group of his loyal ones too costly for him to let it take place. This verse assures us that Jehovah won't allow his loyal servants as group to be entirely removed from the earth. Our modern day history is a clear evidence of it. Okay, now let's move on to the next question, and keep in mind that for this week's Bible reading we have Psalm 113 to 118. And the next one says, what spiritual gems from this week's Bible reading would you like to share? Okay, number 1, we have Psalm 113, verse 1, and it reads, Praise Jah. Offer praise, you servants of Jehovah. Praise the name of Jehovah. Okay, praising God should be a constant part of our lives, regardless of the circumstances. As servants of Jehovah, our mission is to praise His holy name at all times. Whether in times of joy or difficulty, we can find reasons to thank Him and recognize His greatness. And many times we read this in the book of Psalms, praise Jehovah. And even in the new world, we're going to be praising His holy name. Number 2, 116:14. Let's read. This reads, I'll pay my vows to Jehovah in the presence of all His people. This verse reminds us of the importance of keeping our promises and vows to Jehovah, keeping our word. When we make a vow or promise to God, it's vital that we fulfill it with sincerity and faithfulness. It's not only a personal matter, but also a testimony before others, showing our loyalty and love for Him. Promises to God should not be taken lightly. They are a reflection of our relationship with Him. By fulfilling our vows, we demonstrate our gratitude and obedience to His will. Number 3, 113:4. The verse reads, Jehovah is high above all the nations. His glory is above the heavens. This verse motivates us to continue trusting in Jehovah. In the midst of a world full of uncertainties and challenges, Jehovah is above everything. Nothing and no one has more power than Him. This perspective gives us confidence, knowing that we are under the care of the Supreme God who controls all things. In times of despair or anxiety, thinking about this can give us peace of mind. Number 4, 113:6 reads, He stops down to look on heaven and earth. He stoops down to look on heaven and earth. So this teaches a valuable lesson. God is not distant or indifferent to our struggles. He leans toward us, sees our difficulties, and has compassion for the humble and afflicted one. If at any time we feel small or insignificant, we remember that God sees us, loves us, and is willing to lift us up. We are not alone in our trials. He is close to those who need His help. 5. 113:7 and 8 reads, "Raising the lowly from the dust, He lifted up the poor from the ash heap, in order to make him sit with the nobles of His people." So this teaches about the transforming power of Jehovah. He has the power to change or transform our lives for the best version of ourselves. And a proof or evidence about it, there are millions of stories, true stories of our dear brothers and sisters around the earth who changed their lives thanks to Jehovah and the Bible. If we feel rejected, or if we think that our situation has no solution, let us remember that God can change our story. 6. 113:9 reads, "He gives the barren woman a home as a happy mother with children. Praise Jah." In times of despair, like the barren woman in the Bible, God can bring a joy and blessing to those who may feel forgotten or abandoned. Barrenness in Bible times represented great shame, but God is able to give life and restoration. And this lesson reminds us that God doesn't forget anyone and that He can bring new blessings into our lives, even when it seems like all is lost. 7. 114:4. Let's read it first. "The mountains skipped about like rams, the hills like lambs." Mountains and hills represent great obstacles. However, when Jehovah acts, the impossible becomes possible. God has the power to move mountains, figuratively speaking, in our lives. If we face situations that seem impossible to solve, let us remember that with God all things are possible. He has the power to transform what seems immovable. And that's something that many of us, many of the friends, they've seen with their own eyes, situations where all seemed like an impossible situation, and they saw with their own eyes how Jehovah helped them, and that's like a miracle. 8. 114:5 reads, "What made you flee, O sea? Why, O Jordan, did you turn back?" This verse teaches us that when God intervenes, even nature submits to His will. At times, our faith should also lead us to an attitude of wonder and gratitude for what God is able to do. We should never lose appreciation for God's power or take it for granted. He's able to do amazing things in our lives if we trust in Him. 9. 115:1, and this reads, "Not to us, O Jehovah, not to us, but to your name give glory, because of your loyal love and your faithfulness." This teaches that the glory should always go to God, not to us. Acknowledging this and glorifying His name is our main desire as His servants. No matter what we accomplish in life, in the congregation, in the ministry, we must always remember that it's all because of His undeserved kindness or loyal love. Our attitude should be one of humility, always giving honor to God for His faithfulness and loyal love. And we appreciate how the governing body is reflecting this point, and many times our dear brothers, they are pronouncing this statement through their talks. All the glory is to Jehovah. That's a really humble attitude, right? Number 10. 115, 5 and 6 reads, "A mouth they have, but they cannot speak. Eyes, but they cannot see. Ears they have, but they cannot hear. A nose, but they cannot smell." This verse highlights the inability of idols to do what only God can do. They cannot speak, hear, or see, but our God Jehovah is the living God and acts in our lives. If we ever feel lost or without guidance, let us remember that God hears us, sees us, and speaks to us through His Word. He has the power to act in our lives in ways that idols never can. Okay, friends, that's a wrap for this consideration. Thanks for joining us. We hope you have a wonderful day. And if you like this video, we want to invite you to consider subscribe to our channel. So friends, be safe, stay awesome, and hope to see you in our next broadcast. Bye for now.